Hello, everyone, and very good evening. What a week it has been for short sellers. They have finally found some kind of a redemption in this market, and you must have heard the money roller harping over the last 2 3 weeks that this rally has no steam and this is a fake rally, and markets are still not looking very bullish and all that. All that. Finally, people from the money roller, all the traders who are lying down there, who are dead over the last few weeks, they have got some redemption this week.
Definitely. And in the beginning, sometimes people thinking okay, market is still going up, but it means the overall the roller coaster we have seen, not just only just downside one side completely, but definitely the finally weak
Oh, it
finish
has
line,
absolutely been a roller coaster
yeah,
week this time round.
including this today intraday also.
Including today. So, for someone who is not following the markets, if they were just to check blankly what happened today, they will see that okay, Nifty was 0.8% down today, and Bank Nifty was 2.5% down, and Sensex was 0.75% down, which is not really much of a
Yeah.
bad thing. But someone who has been in the market today actually got up at 3:30 and let off steam from their heads. All the traders today might be found in bars or in bar stock exchange, and they will not even bid for any booze out there.
Just not only just traders but as well as investors also who have holding lots of uh, heavy percentage holding into NBFC as well as HFC. HFC is nothing but the housing finance stocks.
Right.
So all our becomes very scary. Okay, what happened
Yeah.
their portfolio, and even they're thinking about to just encash everything that from the portfolio, and no one give hint to them.
Yeah, to give you a hint of what actually happened, okay, at 11:10 or something, DHFL started falling, okay, and it fell from 608 to 250 levels, 257 or something like that, which is like more than half.
Definitely.
Yeah,
People are see as the investors also they are actually they accept such kind of the fall. Yeah, it means the loss, not fall. The loss has a 50%, 60%, but not just in one day. Can I say because they're expecting हाँ एक साल में शायद इतना 50% गिर गया
yeah.
मेरा my wealth is declined, but immediately in the one day such kind of fall, it's very scary for them also.
Yeah, like
Completely.
people have some kind of stop losses. Like if it closes below the 100-day average or
Yeah.
closes below some 200-day average, here तो भाई 600 का स्टॉक 250 का लो मार के 350 का क्लोज दे दिया.
Definitely.
So people who are holding such stocks, they had a nightmare, and because of DHFL, other housing finance stocks also saw a slip in their prices.
And see, everyone just thinking today, as far as the yesterday is the holiday, and everyone
Hmm.
thinking that today market is open and everyone is discounted about the Yes Bank. No one thinking about other stocks.
Yeah.
But suddenly it's just completely different scenario picture.
Right. Nobody, like, even us in the morning, we're like, okay, yeah, yes, bank opened at 270, fine, 20% down and all. And then 215, like 40% down. What just happened? Someone just knocked the daylights out of Yes Bank, isn't it? So, for all those of you who are wondering what the hell are we talking about, or why did all this stuff happen, or what went wrong, here are a couple of things that will help you put things in perspective. So, Yes Bank actually had a fall today because RBI advised or actually instructed the chairman, Mr. Rana Kapoor, to step down from the
January 2019.
yeah, from January 2019, and it is because of that Yes Bank took a hit. Now, why did RBI ask Rana Kapoor to step down? You can actually have a look at our last week's week ahead talk, where we discussed the 17-page letter written by Raghuram Rajan to the parliamentary committee. where he clearly said that if you want to get to the root of the NPA crisis, then you should actually turn your focus on the top management of banks.
Yes.
And we had actually given example that okay, maybe that is what happened in the Chanda Kochar case, and that is also what happened in uh, the other bank,
Axis banks.
Axis Bank case, and now it is Yes Bank's turn. So
Now
if
all three
you
are private.
all the three are private banks. So if you want to have a clearer perspective on that one, have a look at last week's Week Ahead. We have explained that in detail. So Yes Bank took a hit. So that wasn't really surprising, although 40% hit was surprising.
Completely.
Like you have a bank which is consistently reporting less NPAs. Like earlier, Yes Bank was one of those banks who would not really report a very high amount of NPAs at all. And then you have something like this, which gives a 40% cut. And not only that, you've got RBI, government, no, the taxman slamming 38 crore tax liability on Yes Bank, and also a few brokerage houses unanimously downgrading Yes Bank car rating. All these things happening in the same week.
One thing already discounted over the years, they are fighting with management fightings between them.
Yeah,
And then all are completely discounted, and people don't think apart from that any negative point
yeah,
on the Yes Bank.
that's old news. That's stale
Yeah.
fish. So, but then Rana stepping down is seen to be as a very
And now they
bad
are
thing for
looking
the
for
bank,
two
apparently.
new for that positions that might be the declaring on 25th September. And they
Yeah.
also just arguing that we just go on court against the RBI also. They are,
Oh, okay. They are contemplating going against
yeah,
the RBI order in court.
they're thinking for that way.
Yeah. So this was the Yes Bank thing, and then the DHFL thing happened, where there was a big scare that DHFL might default on its credit papers, and then the management had to come down and clarify that no, no, we are covered for at least 2 quarters, if not more, and stuff like that. But I don't think the market really bought it.
And so I think the before the DHFL, I think we have to talk about the IFLS, ILFS. That, I think
Yeah.
that thing is start, and then after DFL feature came.
Yeah, so ILFS defaulting was actually what became a very, very scary thing for everyone, because a lot of mutual funds, a lot of top corporate houses, and a lot of companies had invested their money in ILFS
Debt part.
in their debt. Okay, so they have these debt papers which they issue regularly, and all these companies had invested heavily in these debt papers, and we see that they defaulted, and it was very scary. Or no one could believe that they defaulted, and then eventually we have
And
been
I
seeing
think
that
they have
typical over
sold
the
in the
last 2 3
market lots
weeks.
of heavily also. They're trading that a bit.
Yeah, so there was heavy selling in the market and panic and everything, and then DLF, someone, I don't know, some rumor got spread out. There is some scare somehow. I don't know how this rumor came out. Did it come out through an insider? Did it come out just through some mischievous creature, or did it come out from some
And
financial
if
thing that
I
we are
think
not
if you
aware?
just observe the history, the whenever
Hmm.
such kind of rumors came, sometimes it becomes the actually
Reality, yeah,
reality
yeah.
sometimes, and that's why we have to just away from that also.
Yeah, so having said that, I don't think that a market would trust DHFL right now with their money.
Definitely no.
Yeah, and also the company of DHFL, Aadhar Finance.
I think they
Yeah,
also recently come out with the NCDs. They given the 9.75 around the interest rate. That is very
yeah,
good interest rates, and the tenure is the 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. And the NCD started from the 14th September to 28th September. They during those periods they're trying to collect the money.
right. Now this will definitely affect that NCD.
NCDs. But do you
Yeah.
know who own these companies? Azar Finance. It's one of the small the housing finance company. I think Janan, you share is better way.
Yeah,
I
so
think.
it is a company held by DHFL only, and it is their sister subsidiary. And
Yeah.
yeah, so obviously they are definitely going to get affected by this
Yes. Yes.
thing that has happened. And because of this, we saw stocks of India Bulls Finance, LIC Housing Finance, Repco Home Finance, uh, all these stocks crashing and then even recovering to a large extent.
And there is in the next week one more IPO came in the housing space only.
Oh yeah,
The housing finance space only. That is the Awas,
Awas Housing Finance.
and the
So,
valuation is also very high. And I think around the 4x price to Google he has wanted to come. And I
hmm.
think we also just studying on that part. And very soon we actually come out with the IPO
Yeah.
notes also. So we also are thinking little bit higher, but right now the current situation we should apply or not, that is the very big question
So,
marks. Completely very big question
yeah.
mark.
So the week ahead is going to raise that question for all everyone whether to invest in that IPO or not. But now with this care in mind and with considering the high valuation that it's coming out
See,
in,
we
it
want actually
seems
also
yeah,
attend the IPO analyst meet also, and I
yeah.
feel little bit company is very transparent and very honest, and the working style is very professional. But still, as far as the valuation concerned, and as far as the current market situation concerned, little bit is question mark for us to apply or not.
Yeah, and also for people who are looking for those initial gains rather than long-term gains, again, it is even more,
Yeah.
the future looks even more murky for this IPO. Now, let's talk about dollar. What did dollar do this week? Okay, let me just pull up the chart of the dollar and then we can proceed. 1 minute. There you go. We've got the chart of the dollar now, right up here, showing on your. No, this is your. Hey, hold on. What is this chart? MPMC copper chart is going on. So yeah, you see this. You see this. What looks like an insect out here is actually what the dollar did in this week. Okay, this won't tell you much. Have a look at the daily chart. So last week, when we had our weekly session, we saw that dollar actually fell from 72.93 to 71 to 7 to here. This is 71.50 in a span of 2 days. The middle one dash here being the holiday which was there last week. Now this week, dollar gapped up again, 75 paisa gap up on Monday. Again, it tested this 72.90 levels, okay? Made some kind of a double top here. Again, crashed from there to 72.30 levels. Again, crashed to 72 levels. Then today it gapped down. It closed the gap which it made today. And then it closed at 72 levels. Now, this, like I said, remember the word roller coaster. This is how this week can be described.
Completely.
Yeah,
And second thing, this is a consecutive second week, that is the shortened one day.
yeah, correct.
Only with just 4 trading days.
Right. So last week we had Ganesh Chaturthi, and this week we had Moram holiday. So 4 trading days, both the weeks. So again, it is very interesting to see what trajectory dollar will take in the next week. Although by the looks of it, if this double top does get respected,
And
we
second,
might see lower levels in the dollar.
maybe, but
Hmm.
actually I also observed the each and every month we
Hmm.
have to due pay period came always.
The payment,
Yeah,
correct, but now it's a very alarming question how it's gonna pan out, but uh,
might be the arranged money in the 1 week earlier or
yeah, like so. To talk about that, the forex reserves last week were 399.2 billion, and this week the number which came out was 400 billion. So funnily, we saw the forex reserve go up this week, which is a rare thing over the last 8 weeks. Yeah. So enough said about the dollar. Let's talk about gold. Okay, gold actually took a bounce this week. Okay, only to give it all away today. So if you want to see the gold chart, there you go. Last 4 days it went from 1193 to 1210, and then today it fell from 1210 to 1193, the entire week's range, and now it's at 1200. So gold has gone crazy. We are having fireworks this week, high volatility week for India, for gold. Um, and Last week we had said that the Indian GSEC yield was trading at a very high level. But this week, good news is that the yield has slightly cooled down to 8.07 levels. The bonds are at least stabilizing, if not someone is buying, but someone does not seem to be selling them either. So we had a pretty decent week if you're a bond, if you're looking at bonds. Okay. So now, apart from this, what else happened this week was that SEBI gave approval to BSE and NSE for starting commodity derivatives.
Yeah.
We also saw FIIs being allowed to trade in Indian commodity derivative exchanges, FIs and FPIs, of course. Uh, we saw the Aadhaar Finance NCD, which is going on. Then we saw the first merger of the banks, BOB, Dena Bank,
With Vijaya Bank.
Vijaya Bank.
And such kind of the merger we might be seeing future also more.
Yeah, the next merger will also come out soon. People are saying Andhra Bank and some
Yeah.
1 2 other banks are going to get merged.
Because see, this is the completed time came by because see, if they don't do mergers, so for the individual company, for example, Dena Bank, they have to show as a bankrupt. There is no option because such kind of they are talking about merging from the last 4 years, but they don't do, and suddenly they why should they finally they are saying, "Ha, we have to do that."
Yeah, absolutely. Correct. So governments are doing all they can to defend these public banks from going bust, defend the shareholders also of the public banks from going more bust than they already
And
have.
always observe such kind of the mergings or something as far as such kind of the nationalized or the government the such kind of institution concerned always the negative raised by the employees only. Now no one employees told to such kind of they are saying okay. Otherwise the employees saying we are going on strike and everything.
Yeah, so this time round, no one's gonna object.
No such kind of because they know otherwise they don't get salary.
Yeah, it's a do or die thing for them. So, so now what is interesting to see, what investors are waiting for in this is to see what is the swap ratio that they are going to get.
Yeah, definitely. See, because right now they are based on such news, the extremely volatility we have seen up and down in the all three stocks. Okay, but the people are waiting for the swap ratios till date they are not announced, and once they came, then after the uh, price react according to swap ratios, and
So this is how volatile it has been for
yeah.
Bank of Baroda. Okay, if I were to plot this week's chart, there you go. And last 3 weeks chart, still there you go.
I think we have put one post on the Facebook and which we have observed after such announcement around the 5.7 thousands crore the market cap the vanish in the particular one day of the BOP the whereas which is the that numbers is much more than the dynamic market cap.
So Bank of Baroda lost enough
That particular one in one
Yeah,
day.
in one day to cover the entire Dena Bank. So, and this has been Dena Bank's chart. Interestingly, some buying has been taking place. I don't know why people are buying it. If you hold on to it, I can understand, but people are actually buying it.
Once they just wait for the swap ratio, you can
Yeah,
automatically understand the.
correct. Now, the clear loser in this deal is going to be Vijaya Bank, which is supposed to be India's number two bank, safety wise.
Little bit in the PSU wise, in
Amongst the
PSU category.
PSU's category, after Indian Bank, this comes
Because
at
the last
number two in the NPA thing.
because last 4 to 6 quarters they consider given the decent numbers
Yeah.
compared to other PSU banks.
Yeah, so you can see that the shareholders of Vijaya Bank are clearly pissed off and they are selling bad. They come at a lifetime low. So this was about the banks this week. Now proceeding further, let us have a look at the overview of this week. Okay, what we are gonna be
I
looking
think
at.
before that I just want to highlight this is the one of the special day today. You just missed on that part, Dana.
Oh, yeah. Proceed, proceed.
See, today is the 21st September.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. How
And
could
you
I
are, I
forget?
think people are saying उसमें क्या है 21 सितंबर तो हर बार आता है साल में एक बार तो उसमें स्पेशल क्या है.
How could I forget? So, have you guys heard of something called as GAN dates? So right there in a corner of our office, we've got a GAN dates calendar, okay, where 21st to 24th September is a period called as GAN dates. Now, in these periods, the markets are supposed to go berserk, wild, and crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
And the markets are supposedly so choppy in this week that in these few days that nobody gets to make money in these markets. But the positive thing about candidates is that you see the candidate duration, mark the high and low of the candidates, and then whichever direction the market goes after that, it is said to proceed in that direction. Now, this is the general norm. I'm not suggesting anything here. I'm just saying that, okay, watch, learn, observe, read more about candidates. And that's it. So, enough said about candidates.
And this is nothing but this is the last stage
Oh,
of the
yeah.
technical analysis also.
So for all the technical analysts out there, all the aspiring technical analysts out there, we start off with basic technicals, then we go on to advanced, and then we go on to wave theories, then we go on to harmonic patterns, and then eventually there is the epitome of technical analysis called as GAN.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And if you're just thinking I want to learn from the just last day, then you are wrong.
Oh, no, no, no. It's like GAN has to be attained. You have to reach there. It's like Bonville. You have to earn it. So, they say that people who know GAN can predict, can actually decipher stock supports and resistance levels to the accuracy of two decimals.
Yeah.
That is what is said. Now, if we have sparked your curiosity enough, you can go and watch, read more about GAN, and then get back to us. Right. So now moving on to this week's overview. Okay, let's have a look at our conventional Excel, which we show you all every week. Let me just make this big. Okay, our PC's got hung a little bit. All right, here, there we go. So this week, we can see that the Nifty actually fell by 3.23% and Sensex by 3.28% and Bank Nifty by 5.77%. Clearly, Bank Nifty has given up all its gains for the entire year because of the amount of shit that's going on in the banking domain. Okay. And Nifty is also now reduced its gains to 5.8%, and Sensex is at 8.18%. Now, if you were to look at the gainers and losers of this week, most of them happened today.
Just finance company or bank company, most of them all are
Yeah.
in the loser side.
Yeah, it's like finance and banks. That's it. And then we have got this Infibeam one guy who's been bearish over the last 2 3 weeks, who decided to give away today. So
And there is one more thing the last week has happened. I just read about the Reliance infrastructure. That's why I think the one AGM has conducted of the Anil Ambani side,
yeah.
and then he also given lots of money through the bombs.
Right, right. So Anil Ambani in one AGM said that eventually he's gonna get out of all his businesses except for the finance one.
Finance one, you also talking to we just Arcom just become the real estate business. Something he talking about that way.
Yeah, he said Arcom will become
He going just close down all the telecom business and just whatever the property he has, then that just converted into the real estate business.
right, absolutely. So
But
what
the thing
happens
is
to
that-
Reliance Infrastructure then?
I don't know, but that I just read about that. I just remember the that IGMs impacted whatever happened.
Yeah, turns out the market doesn't know either. That's why they sold it
No,
off.
no.
Right?
And whatever he did has come in, and that negative compared all his group stocks.
Right.
We just observe.
Yeah, his entire group tanked.
Yeah.
And now, if you were to look at the FII DII fund flow, okay, this week, you will realize that there has been a shift in the fund flow over the last 2 weeks. So we saw that in the months of July and August, okay, the FIs were actually buying into the markets, and the DIIs were not buying as much that they bought in June. So this chart of June, which shows 62,000 here, showed that in July, August, and July and August, the DIs were not really interested in buying. In June, FIs were selling. In July and August, FIs were buying slightly. But all of that has been undone in these 3 weeks of September so far, and the DIs are still not showing interest in buying. This is a monthly breakup. The weekly chart will show you how much the FIs have been selling and what the DIs have been buying.
Yeah.
And what is the difference is the value lost. Anyways, not mathematically, this is just metaphorically. So, yeah. And this is the annual trends, of course. So, this year, again, the DIs are still pretty high till September third week, but the FIs have not been buying into this year. And why would they buy this year?
No.
Yeah, why would they buy into this year? The markets never came down and the dollar kept going up.
And as far as the US is also increasing their rate.
Yeah, and the US rate hike has actually made US bonds lucrative. Not only that, US Dow Jones market is still performing really well. Yeah, it's not.
Why should take the
Yeah,
currency risks here?
why would they take the risk of investing here? So FIs have got a clear cut case of not investing in India, and that's what they are doing. So, speaking about Dow Jones and all, shall we look at the global markets?
Yeah, you can say.
Okay, let's have a look at the global markets. Now, this is going to scare the daylights out of you. Okay. Uh, 1 minute. Let me just figure out. Yeah, this one. Yeah, here. There you go. So now let's have a look at the global markets. You'll be surprised to know that India has tanked this week, obviously, but Dow Jones has hit a new life high this week. So this time it's personal. You cannot blame the global markets. You don't believe me?
Just not only Dow Jones, other global
Yeah.
markets.
You don't
also.
believe me? Let's have a look at the FTSE. Okay, let's have a look at the UK 100 FTSE index here. Again, it went from 7200 to 7400. Again, a 2% rise in their price. All right. You still want more proof? Let's have a look at the DAX, DE30, the German DAX index. There we go. Now you might be arguing, oh, this is not this might be for those developed nations. What about emerging companies? What about BRICS? Okay, you want to see BRICS? Let's have a look at Shanghai. There we go. Shanghai is up 4% this week. Boom. There we go. And from the bottom, like trade was no, Shanghai, we are going up. Anyways, let's have a look at Brazil. There we go. Bovespa up 5% this week from 75,000 to 79,000.
Janak, after showing such situation, I just remember one quote I just wanted to share to them. The ships don't shrink because of the water around them. The ship shrinks because of the water that get in them. Don't let what happenings around you get inside you and weight on down.
Yeah. So this saying says that don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. But actually, the opposite is happening, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's happening around us is going up, and we are the ones that are going down. This time, it's personal. Even Russia hit a new lifetime high. Moscow Exchange, if I want to put this, boom, new lifetime high, 2.5% up, Russia. So, ladies and gentlemen, the problem this week lies in India.
Yeah, definitely.
This time it's personal. This time it is our problem. Now, again, what is the problem? What is not the problem? We discussed to a large extent today. At least what's up with the banks, what's up with the housing finance sector, and what's yeah. One thing, although what got remained to be discussed was that next week is the US Fed meet.
Yeah.
Okay, on Wednesday, and the week after that is the RBI meet.
4th October.
4th October. Right. So it's going to be interesting in the days ahead too. Now, let's have a quick glance at what is happening in the commodity space. Shall we? Oh, we are back. Hello. How do we share this? There we go. So here you go. The commodity space, okay, it has been again, we have seen crude going up by 2.83% this week. Okay. Again, not a very good thing if you're in India and if you're thinking about words like trade deficit and all that.
And that number crude is not surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all. These OPEC people have started getting united again, apparently.
But I see just wild journey. That is the nickel. I think what?
Yeah, so apart from that, we saw a bounce this week in zinc. Okay, gold and silver have remained muted this week. Okay, to quite a large extent. Lead has been down. Copper has given a bounce. Now, copper has a very interesting chart. It has been doing a bad job throughout the year, and now it has been bouncing. Nickel has been performing well as usual, like in its own small little way. And yeah, that's pretty much about what commodities charts look like. So, commodities look like this week. But keep in mind that as Navratri gets closer, we will see more and more movements in the commodity space because every year that's what happens.
But right now, the first 15 days might be little bit shakiness.
Yeah, so the first 15 days are the Pitru Paksh days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thereafter Navratri. But again, in the 2 months, Navratri and plus or minus 1 month wala zone, commodities are really active. So right about now you should
Actually,
see,
silver, I think you're talking about earlier.
yeah, silver goes crazy too in these times. So it'll be interesting to see how movement and demand and all, or maybe even supply comes out in all these commodities. But right now, I don't think the silver charts are interesting enough. There's no buying taking place or anything of that sort. So, let's have a look at the currency space. We showed you the USD INR. Now, this is just its performance. This week, it has actually fallen. The dollar index has fallen. Okay. But the USD INR is up by 0.5%. And so is the euro dollar, GBP dollar, euro JPY. Since these three are up by 0.7% approximately, we are seeing the dollar index marginally down this week. Also, um, euro JPY actually gave a good bounce this week. Now, this is a very interesting chart. Okay, I want all of you all to have a look at this. Okay, how all these sectors have performed over the year, how they have performed over this month, and how they have done this week. Okay, so clearly on the positive side for this week, there is nobody. Yeah, everyone's done a bad job this week. Big pat on the back for everyone, right? But let's see who's done a horrible job this week.
PSU Bank and Realty.
Yeah, Realty has taken a hit, 6.5%. PSU banks have taken a hit, 8.5%.
And simultaneously, the Nifty. Yeah.
And the media has taken a hit 4.77%. Bank Nifty 5.77% too.
And
And
due to Bank PSU Bank, that's why the Bank Nifty is down 5.77%.
right. Uh, PSU banks have actually weighed down the Bank Nifty heavily.
Little
But
bit thanks to Yes Bank also. Yes Bank is also in the part of the Bank Nifty.
oh yeah, and Yes Bank is part of Bank Nifty. But interestingly, Yes Bank was down by 35% today, and Bank Nifty was up.
See, Yes Bank is little bit small. That's why the
Weightage is less.
less.
Yeah,
That's why.
pretty much.
Otherwise, if it's a bigger bank, then what?
If they had given Yes Bank a higher weightage, then
Example is
yeah.
it's become the yes ICICI Bank or HDFC, then क्या होता? So
Oh,
ना करे ना
scary. Don't scare us,
it's
Chirag.
not
Don't
just
scare us.
happen to impact to Bank Nifty, but Nifty को भी हिला देता.
Yeah. Right. So here you can see that sectors are not having a good time. But now let's have a look at sectoral charts. This will actually give us a better picture as to what is going on in these sectors. Again, I'll have to toggle the screen. Again, we are back. Hello. There we go. So again, I think no, there is a separate setting that needs to be done here. Yep, this is the setting that we need to do. There we go. So here you can see the chart of Nifty Realty Index. I'm just going to run through the charts. You can see how bad they are. Nifty Energy Index is just starting to fall. So for next week, you can look into this. If you have not shorted, you can try shorting a few stocks of this index. CPSE index. Wow. This fellow has gone up. It's surprising. Okay, this is again PSE index gone up. Commodities again, long wick, still some room on the way down. FMCG terribly bearish. It actually did a bad job
It's a
today.
weekly.
These are weekly things, but the weekly change was not
Okay.
seen here. You can just see this last candle here.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Now consumption.
Yeah, other people just looking this one. That's why.
Yeah, that is today's change. All these values are just today's change.
So just you have to observe only just
Yeah, just
the
look
last
at
candle.
this last candle which is there, and you will get an idea of what's going on. Infra also pretty bad. Nifty, obviously pretty bad. Nifty Media, it's languishing. It's had a bad run throughout the year. Okay, it's high time actually someone should buy it from here. I think someone will buy it from here. The stocks look pretty tired. They don't look as though they'll
So
fall
it's
further.
depend to just particular stock also.
Yeah. So again, stocks like Z and all, I think they are done falling.
I'm not go for the Dish TV at all.
Yeah.
Because we already see the what happened to Idea and Airtel.
Yeah. D2H, forget about it. But I think Sun TV
Because
and Z
Reliance
TV
itself is
are
not
two
entered the
stocks.
market
Yeah.
right now. And once it entered, then what happened, I don't know.
Yeah. Reliance is looking to get global domination. Again, Nifty IT, this hasn't fallen, but it looks as though it's going to have a bad week next week. So, for those of you who want to take away something from here, Nifty energy sector and Nifty IT sector look bad for next week. Other sectors may actually take a breather from falling. They may take a pause कि हाँ भाई अभी last 2-3 weeks से बहुत गिर गया, and they actually take a breather and then they'll probably even continue falling further. If that happens, it's called as a dead cat bounce. That is what we expect in the other
But
sectors.
apart from sector, I just might be look for the only Bank Nifty as well as Nifty only because the next week is the FN expiry also. And
Yeah,
second thing, this is the last week of the second quarter also. Then
right,
after
right.
just
The half year actually.
yeah, you can say
Yeah.
that way. And then after suddenly the RBI policy came in the next week, and then next week the
Quarterly results.
results started.
Wow, wow.
So
So the next 1 month is going to be crazy, going to be fun,
yeah,
and lots to look forward to. So in buying, I will not suggest anything to any of y'all at the moment, but at least looking at the CNX 500 stocks,
so you might be go for stock specific.
yeah, you can look for stock specific stocks, stocks who have
And
a
the
good
first,
higher
I think,
yield. Yeah.
in the beginning of the quarter, I think the all IT stocks results came. Then after bank result declares,
Yeah, so that's how, and again, you see auto sales coming down. Now, the interesting thing about
and
auto,
suddenly this quarter is this week is complete. Then after suddenly again the this month quarters figures came, auto numbers.
yeah, absolutely. So you will have these quarters auto figures, which pretty much
Yeah,
most
that
of
is the
them would
last
have projected.
the last month
La,
of the
the
second quarter.
yeah, so September auto figures and the entire quarter auto figures.
Indirectly you get it.
Right. So there's one thing I want to point out about the auto sector is that it has actually broken this some kind of a trend line out here, okay, and it's going either sideways or it's going to go lower. So I don't see the auto sector performing well at least in the next few weeks. It might be a laggard if not.
Might be thanks to Maruti. I
Yeah,
think
well,
Maruti has a weightage very high and he has already declined so much fast.
yeah, but so has Tata Motors and
Tata Motors also
uh,
we have we remain.
Eicher has taken a hit. So the entire sector looks as though it's going to either consolidate or even probably fall.
I think one stock might be escaped. That is the Motherson Sumi. Might be.
Okay.
I think show them chart item.
Motherson Sumi chart. Okay, let's have a look at that. Oh, wow.
Need little bit.
Still jittery. Still on the weekly, I don't see any buying.
I'm not saying a bounce back, but he just.
Yeah, let's see whether on a daily. This is a monthly chart. Let's see daily. Okay, our computer has decided to get hung. Oh, there we go.
Apart from except today's fall.
Right. So I don't know Motherson Sumi, but I think Mahindra did a phenomenal job today. M&M.
Thanks to tractor sales actually. The
Yeah,
last
look
three.
at what Mahindra has done today. There, it's had a green week.
See, because see, again this month, this week after completely again sales figures came, and the tractor sales is continuously came very good from the last 3 months.
Correct.
More than that,
Correct.
and it's the market leader in the tractors.
Yeah, and if you want to see today's move, okay, yesterday it closed at 949. today it hit a low of 870.
Because it's a holding company, he also has stake in some other companies also, my Mahindra Finance and every other stock.
Yeah,
So they are
so
impacted. That's why they are also corrected simultaneously.
yeah, so from this, okay, we can definitely boil down to this. Okay, if you were to look at these charts, if you were to look at the charts of good stocks today, you will see that it has been a buying opportunity for these long-term investors
Yeah,
who
definitely.
are waiting for the correct price.
Yeah,
So many stocks like Mahindra,
definitely.
like 940 चल रहा है, 870 पे मिल गया किसी को, किसी ने ले लिया.
Or might be just look at the good dividend yield stocks. Might be you just getting good returns also from
Yeah.
that, or not just only good returns, but your portfolio might be become getting capped.
Hmm.
That's a, because see, as far as the dividend, it is very good, then there is chances less to correct more corrections.
Right.
Okay, whenever the stock is correction, the dividend it automatically will increase. So the downside risk might be limited.
Yeah, so the falling of prices is good if you want to buy stocks which generally give a higher dividend
Dividend.
yield. And that's another takeaway for everyone who's listening in today. Also, one thing I want to read, let me just sum up the next week for you. Next week, we will see the US Fed meet. Next to next week, 4th October, RBI meet. Next week is the monthly close. Is it?
FN expiry.
It's the FNO expiry. Let me check if it is the monthly close too. Yep. Next week is the monthly close, the quarterly close, the half yearly close. After that, we are gonna have quarterly results coming in from
But it will take
mid
one.
October.
But,
Yeah.
but they skip one first week, then after they started.
Yeah, from second week of October, we are gonna have results
Yeah.
coming in. Um, uh, for next week, globally, there is inflation and GDP data that's going to come. Also, for people who are looking to short, I think you will find safer opportunities in the energy and IT space. Dollar will be very interesting to look at, and there will be a good start of good movements in gold and silver because of the plus and -1 and +1 Navratri rule
Yeah.
of the 2 months of around Navratri. So with this, I think are we ready to close the week, or do you want to say something, Chirag?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then. So we close down for this week. Have a good weekend, everyone, and enjoy the
Roller
ride.
coaster ride.
Enjoy the roller coaster ride.